So it's 9. I will start. So a warm welcome and thank you for joining our ILA coffee chat. Today is about digital impact and on value creation and the board's role in navigating disruption and guiding strategic transformation. My name is Aubin Desremeaux. I am member of the think tank working committee, and I will be moderating today's conversation. ILA is the Luxembourg Institute for Board Directors, dedicated to promoting good governance practice for today and preparing for the future. The work of its think tank working committee aims to challenge the status quo, presents thought-provoking topics, and stimulates directors thinking about the future of board practices. Digital technology has profoundly shaped our societies, social relations, all forms of organizations, hence their governance and value creation. Digital transformation has been a critical challenge for decades and remains essential for organizations worldwide. Today, we offer a fresh perspective of this topic with a focus on the relations between digital transformation and value creation in the context of the directors and the board. So combining insights from academia and the boardroom. So before we start, let's share some housekeeping notes. So to share your questions, just use the chat feature during the conversation, and we will hold a Q&A session at the end of this talk. This session is being recorded and will be made available on ILA website. So now let me introduce our speakers. Liselott Engstam brings a unique blend of global executive experience and board leadership, having served on the boards of 9 listed, 7 private firms, and 5 foundations, including initiatives like the World Economic Forum Climate Governance. A recognized authority in modern governance, her expertise spans business expansions, disruption, AI, and cyber resilience, with a strong foundation in both academic research, board training, and practical insights into the evolving role of boards in times of transformation. And Professor Serret is a finance professor at Lorraine University, specializing in corporate governance. She leads the finance research team at the Serret-Fige research laboratory, which is focused on management science and financial economics. And she serves as a board member and treasurer for the International Academic Association of Governance, dedicated to advancing the study and practice of governance through academic research and international collaboration, bringing together scholars and practitioners to explore and address contemporary governance challenge, fostering innovation and excellence in the field. Vanessa, you published a paper with Professor Hilary about digital transformation and governance. What motivated you to explore the intersection of these 2 topics?
Thank you, Ben. First of all, I would like to tell I'm very happy to be among, I'm very happy to participate to this coffee chat. Good morning, everybody. The paper we wrote with Professor Hilary, my colleague from the University of Georgetown, is about digital transformation and governance. And it's a new subject, in fact, because it's we have we have works on these topics, but it's difficult to make the link between digital transformation and governance. So the rapid pace of digital transformation across industries has revealed a critical gap. And our governance frameworks can either accelerate or hinder this evolution. So Jill and I, we wanted to provide a comprehensive understanding of these dynamics and identifying opportunities for improvement. Digital transformation is reshaping industry, organization, and government, from artificial intelligence and blockchain to Internet of Things and big data. Technology is altering how decisions are made, services are delivered, and value is created. However, as technology evolves, it also brings challenges related to ethics, accountability, and regulation, making governance a critical area of focus. Effective governance ensures that digital innovation align with societal value, legal norms, and organizational objectives. Exploring this intersection helps address concerns about data privacy or cybersecurity, which are increasingly in the public spotlight. Governance is not just about compliance, it's also about enabling agility and resilience in the digital age. Organizations with strong governance frameworks can better adapt to technical disruption while minimizing risk, and digital tools can enhance governance practices such as artificial intelligence for risk management or blockchain for transparency. For scholars, for us, for academics, the interplay between these two fields, represents fertile ground for research with real-world impact, and it allows for interdisciplinarity work, combining technology, law, policy, and business, of course, and it's a real challenge for scholars also.
Wow, that's I'm quite keen to hear the summary of this study. Liesl, you advocate for boards to take up the digital transformation subject. Can you explain why?
Yes, and thank you so much for inviting me. Hello to everybody on the call, fellow board directors. I think we all feel the pace picking up. I mean, in fact, it will never be as slow as it is today. It will just keep increasing. So one of the things that many of the people who are on this call, I'm sure, was part of the previous really fast digital transformation, the one coming now is even speedier. So this is actually just about staying competitive and making sure that your competitiveness aligns with your business strategy, or sometimes even have to change your business strategy. I think the other thing that I'd like to pick up on Vanessa's point, and that is that there is a flood of regulation coming, but in fact, not even that, and that has been like that for ages, it will not come quick enough. So in order for you to stay competitive, you actually have to put a bit of your own policies in place to make sure that even if it's legal, it might not be the right thing to do. So the boards are needed more than ever.
Thank you. So now let's go more into let's dig into the research paper. Vanessa, can you please summarize the key outcomes of our study? Of your story, sorry, it's not mine.
Yes, thank you, Ben. First, the study distinguished digital transformation from digital transition, emphasizing that transformation leads to profound and disruptive organizational changes, rather than just incremental improvement. And the board of directors play a crucial role in guiding digital transformation. It's sure, and effective boards foster innovation through expertise diversity, background diversity, and strategic agility, reducing ambiguity in uncertain contexts, in risky contexts. So digital transformation drives value creation through process optimization, for example, robotic process automation, or new business model, for example, Netflix, and diversification of activity, for example, Amazon Web Services. Board of directors are not merely oversight bodies. They actively contribute to defining, monitoring, and guiding the strategic direction of digital transformation initiative. However, disparities in their level of engagement exist. For example, a recent McKinsey studies indicate that only 17% of board members actively support digital transformation initiative, despite its importance. But on the other hand, conversely, 89% of executives integrate digital into their growth strategy, underscoring the need for better alignment between boards and digital priorities. Certain boards' attributes foster innovation and enhance value creation in the context of digital transformation. First attribute, diversity. And for example, functional and professional diversity and reduce ambiguity aversion and enhance decision-making in risky contexts. In an empirical study, for example, diverse boards in the airline sector maintain investments and mitigate market reaction following the 11th September attack. That's the first attribute, diversity. Second attribute, innovation expertise. Director with innovation expertise, for example, serving on several boards, positively impact strategic innovation performance. And we need to keep in mind digital transformation is a complex and high-risk process. According to the Boston Consulting Group, only 35 of companies achieve their digital goals. Boards play a critical role in managing this complexity through, first, organizational agility. That is to say, boards must foster rapid behavioral changes to adapt to disruption in the new ecosystem, the very new ecosystem. Organizational agility and also effective governance distinguish risk from uncertainty. Risk is quantifiable, uncertainty is unpredictable, and effective boards, effective governance develops competencies to reduce uncertainty and unpredictable. So this is a crucial factor in driving digital innovation. And in addition, boards can activate several strategic levers to maximize the benefit of digital transformation. First levers, process transformation. Example include robotic process automation to improve efficiency and accuracy. Second level, reinvention of business model. Companies like Tesla have leveraged digital strategies to disrupt their respective industry. Third lever, Amazon success with Amazon Web Services demonstrate how diversification can enhance value. So the third level is diversification. Generally speaking, limited board engagement in digital matters hampers their potential to guide transformation effectively. So we recommend boards should enhance their digital literacy, diversify their expertise, and integrate technology into broader strategy planning. For summarize, for boards of directors to fully realize their role in digital transformation, they must evolve towards more diverse, agile, and innovation-focused governance models. Proactive governance is not only a tool for mitigating risk, but also a catalyst for long-term value creation.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and I'm sure, Liselott, it resonates in your experience. From your perspective, Liselott, what are the challenges boards are facing with digital transformation?
Well, and thank you so much, Vanessa. I think there's a huge need to continue to explore the governance and digital in integration and collaboration there. I think the first one is obvious, and Vanessa mentioned it, and that is the challenge of the expertise that you many of the technologies and the new business models we did not operate when we were in our operations. So there needs to be, as Vanessa also pointed out, a training, education, because otherwise it's really also hard to foresee the trends and when they're going to impact. But I thought for everything I say now, I'll give a little tip so that this becomes really practical. And one thing that I find really good when I am chairing my own boards is that I start the board meetings going around the table and asking everybody, have you seen anything that you think is either interesting or you think will impact our company? And the best thing with that is that they might be a bit surprised the first and second time, but the third time, everybody have been looking much more. So it actually makes everybody look a bit more. And then for all chairs on the call, I would say, make sure you work out a budget for education. Most boards don't have that. And actually make sure that you give that so that board members have a chance to get educated. The other area which I can see, and this particularly goes to a number of really regulated industries, and that is the ability to balance innovation and risk. So we get a flurry of control-oriented advice and regulations on all of the risk side, but we don't get as much on the innovation side. So one of the things that we have done in most of my boards and I find really valuable, and that is that we invite, in our case, customers, and you can choose kind of what kind of customers or partners you have, but don't ask them to talk about what they think of you. Ask them to talk about what they think of the future. That is a fantastic way to quite quickly get into what are they struggling with and how can you bring that in. And then in the third area, of course, to make sure that this entire digital impact is integrated into your long-term strategy. And that's really hard because most of us kind of think of redefining strategy once a year, or maybe even deep dive just every third year or something. But a really good way is to try to think about scenario-oriented questions when you have different topics. So actually ask questions like, that's interesting, but what if something else? And try to think through so you bring in the alternative.
Thank you for this very practical first insights from experience. It used to be very exciting to sit on boards with you, Liselott, really. Before we continue, I would like we would like to share two questions via a poll. And then it will give the opportunity for our speakers also to comment where you are staying. Please notice that the votes that remains totally anonymous. We don't have access to the identity of the respondents regarding this. So the first question is about whether you have a proactive balance between guiding over supervising management in digital business disruption and transformation. And the second one is whether you feel sufficiently informed as a board member about the impact of digital disruption and transformation on our business. So we have, almost, I leave a couple of seconds for the last. Okay, so we have 21 answers. So I terminate and I share. Do you see the results? Yeah?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so we have almost about more than 75% of people that are quite or fully agree to both questions, which is quite positive, let's say, regarding this digital disruption and digital transformation points. Liselott, Vanessa, would you share something regarding this result?
It's extraordinary positive, I can say.
Yeah, right.
I'm super happy to hear that, because that means that there will be very little businesses in Luxembourg that will be disrupted over the next couple of years. So in that sense, it's really good. And if you are that insightful on those topics, I think that you are well prepared to actually continue to drive the question. If you still feel after a bit of the discussion that there are other opportunities, and since you obviously trailblazers, I would encourage you to really continue to look into what will it mean to business models. I know a lot of you sit in the financial services sector. What will it mean to the capital market when AI is general AI and expertise is free? how disrupted will the entire capital market become? And that will not just impact the ones sitting on those boards, but all of the rest of us in terms of actually sitting on listed companies or even borrowing money to try to make our transitions.
Thank you. And Vanessa, would you have any additional comments? So we have let's say a special audience today that seems to be very controversies from what you experience with the interviews and surveys that you may had, right? You're on mute, Vanessa. Sorry,
Okay.
Yeah,
thank
we
you.
hear you.
Thank you for the audio. So I agree with Liselott. It's a very good news, but I have just a remark because maybe because our listener, maybe because the audience is in the financial sector, and of course in the financial sector, people and board, I suppose we can suppose they are ongoing, they are very proactive. I'm not sure it's well. Of course, we need to confirm. But if you look at different sector, industrial sector, services sectors, I'm not sure it is the same. But of course, I agree. It's a very good news, of course. And maybe because it's Luxembourg also.
Yeah, maybe as well. Let's continue with our conversation, and thank you for the comments. I will just stop the sharing of this. Okay, Liselott, in the context, so we already speak about this, but I'm sure you have some additional tips to share with us. What is the board's role in digital transformation from your perspective?
Well, right. I think I'll divide it just into three areas. I think it's very important that we pursue a strategic oversight, so that we manage to link it between both the long term and the short term, and to actually help set direction, help look, because most operational team CEOs today becomes more shorter and more short-sighted. And one of the things that we see is that boards tend to follow the same track. So actually they should rather try to put the weight on also being long-term. I had another conversation in another group, and one of the key things is actually to ensure curious board members, to have some of the board members being really curious, and ask around corners. One of the things that I do, and I will do this actually not just for this reason, but try to get the CEO and the board more on the same side of topics. I ask the CEO to always put a question to key topics, a question on things that they're struggling with, so that boards have a chance to think through some of these strategic questions. Don't just get it in the board meeting, but actually help think through strategic topics. And then sometimes, maybe not all of the times, assign a devil's advocate, assign somebody that's trying to shoot holes on what you're doing. On the governance that I talked about before, to try to find this balance between innovation and risk. In most of my boards, we now have temporary committees, and that is just to try to get hold of certain topics and work through with them between the board and the management. I think and this is just pure leadership, because our brains get really washed out after 2 hours in a boardroom. So if you really have strategic topics and strategic agendas, don't follow the traditional way of having all of the reporting first and the real hard topics in the end, because then your brain is already kind of used up for that, and you will get everybody to just go, yeah, we don't take any risk here. And that will be really troublesome, I think, in the future. And then to actually be a bit more brave in resource allocation and the monitoring. So make sure that you have actions, especially now with AI, that focus both on the top line and the bottom. So both the cost and the revenue side. Right now, most of us have a lot of initiatives on the cost side, and we need that in order to actually have the ability to invest on the revenue side. But make sure that you have that in a bit of a balance. And of course, make sure that we all understand that this has to be a bit more of an experimentation orientation. We don't know exactly what we're going into. So try to put in some kind of governance where you can actually nicely remove things, but pick up the learnings from it.
Yeah. So the so-called fail fast, learn fast, right?
Yeah. Which is we're not super good at that in most boards.
Yeah, let's say it's also very counterintuitive when you are in the risk mindset, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
but the biggest risk most companies have now is the risk of being obsolete.
Yes,
but
true.
It actually doesn't show on most companies' risk maps, which is something to reflect on. If that is the risk, why isn't it showing? Because that would help all of you to kind of put yourself into a different mode.
And that's maybe a part of the uncertainty. So between, you know, this risk and uncertainty, like you both mentioned. Vanessa, could you give us some example of companies? So you mentioned some during the summary of the study. Can you share other companies that have successfully combined governance and digital transformation? So it can also maybe be very, so of course, maybe very inspiring for all of us.
Urban, can I, before you start answering, Vanessa,
no, that's fine.
Because if this group is quite advanced, it would be really nice if you can share good practices. Either the very small one that I shared or more of the strategic one that Vanessa is shortly going to share. So anything that you have that you think helps your board or is inspiring your board, share it in the chat.
Yeah, that's...
Yes, in the chat, what do you mean?
No, not you.
No, that was for our audience.
For the group, for the audience.
Yeah.
Well, so I was a little bit upset. I think it was for me. So to answer your question, Oban, well, our study with Hilary provide 4 examples, 4 very famous examples of companies that have successfully combined governance and digital transformation to drive innovation and value creation and so on. Our first example is Walmart, because Walmart embarked on its digital transformation by acquiring Jetcom in 2016. And the acquisition aimed to enhance its e-commerce capabilities and compete with Amazon by leveraging innovating pricing model, for example, and its vast network of physical stores. Walmart outcome, for example, Walmart's to give some figures, Walmart's online sales grew by 33% in 2018, supported by a $14 billion investment in new technology. So the key point is, of course, investment in new technology. Of course, a second example, Tesla. Everybody knows Tesla. And Tesla adopt a direct-to-consumer model, bypassing traditional dealerships. And customers can customize and order cars online, while software updates are deployed remotely to enhance features without requiring physical visit. That's digital transformation. It's not about. It's not just only about electric motors. And to give an example, of course, Tesla achieved a return on equity of 33% in 2020. Third example, Nike. And they make a focus on digital transformation, and Nike strengthened its governance by adopting a selective distribution strategy, terminating partnership with distributors, it's a choice, and terminating partnership with distributors that did not align with its brand image. It also heavily invested in its own e-commerce platform. The key point is investing, and Nike reduced dependency on retailers. Outcome, return on equity of 43% in 2022. And Nike improved brand perception with digital innovation. My last example is Hasbro. Hasbro embraced digital transformation by creating interactive digital experiences, such as mobile apps for board games, connected toys, and online gaming platforms. These efforts preserve the creative value of its products, that's very important, while improving customer engagement, contributing to significant financial performance improvements. I don't have the figures in mind, but it's quite important. Thank you, Urban.
Yeah, thank you, Vanessa, for these examples and some key points to be inspired. Lieslotte, I am sure that the board's company you're sitting are at least going to be successful in this digital transformation journey. What are the key drivers for you to monitor the success or any deviation from it?
So I think that the way that we do it in most of my companies is actually to make sure that it's integrated in the business strategy. So in that sense, we're monitoring, besides some areas, and I'll come back to them, mostly on the business side. What impact will it have and what are we looking for? Additional to that, we have a couple of things. We do monitor experiments, so that we know that we actually can kill them quick enough, because they cost money. And if we, a strategy in itself is an hypothesis. And you really need to be quick now in actually going for that. I think the other areas that most of my companies, and I guess most of the companies here, will have to think through, and that is to put the foundation in place, especially going for the AI. which of all of these tools are you going to integrate with your own business? Because it will be quite sticky when you start to integrate it. So make sure that you actually have that discussion up. That also has a geopolitical dimension that we need to consider, unfortunately, now. But just for a practical thing, one of the things I pushed very hard is to get AI policies in place. Because I know that things are already happening before we have all of the governance in place. So get an AI policy out, and I know from my own companies that they're super happy with that. I think the other thing, and most people here might be very knowledgeable about different areas, but one of the things I see is we will have to be more brave, and we will have to get into dilemma decisions. We can't just sit and say we play everything safe. And I think we have a company originating from Nordic, which is called Klarna. And Klarna is known because they have taken some really, really dramatic decisions. And one of them has been all around the management of their customer service, where they actually implemented with AI with some phenomenal results. But it also took that they removed quite a big part of their employee base. And those kind of decisions seems, when you sit with them, as, oh, we should be able to retrain everybody. That might not be possible. And you have to think through how you're going to handle that. So I think that area is something we're debating a lot right now.
Yeah, thank you. And also regarding the AI policy, that's true that this is something that might be seen as quite abstract on a specific case, but don't hesitate to really start with a very pragmatic and practical one, starting with your own experience, because I assume that most all of you started with ChatGPT at least once over the last 2 years. So you may also really feel what could be the potential, but also what could be the threats behind these points. And that can be very practical in the way to have worked on such topic. Vanessa, Lisla, thank you so much for your inspiring and valuable insights. Before we close the conversation and we jump to the Q&A part, I have a last point for each of you. If, as a board member, we would have at least the top takeaway, let's say, to make ourselves and our boards better engage in digital transformation challenges, what would be, in one sentence, this takeaway? Vanessa, please, first.
Yes, thank you, Ben. Well, to make it short, boards must embrace background diversity, experience diversity, and also enhance digital literacy and foster agility to navigate uncertainty effectively. Well.
Thank you. And you, Lisette?
Yeah, I think I'll go even shorter now. I think that boards needs to make sure that they have continuous learning and much more in focus, so they can stay agile and get new insights in quicker that they can work with.
That's very condensed insights. Thank you. I just see a question in the chat. So I read it from Linda Schmitz. At our investment management company, technology is at the forefront of our strategy. It is in fact marketed as a technology company. AI is integrated in all areas of business, and the CIO has encouraged all employees to play with AI, allowing ChatGPT and Copilot to be used in the secure environment. Sorry, it's not a question, but it's a good practice that has been shared, and that's very interesting from the again from the practical point of view.
So I think that is a really amazing and super good. And it seems to be driven, if I understand it, from the CEO. So my question is, where's the board? That'd be really interesting to hear, Linda, your perspective on is the board, because the risk is if the board is not there, they will be the hindrance of now rather than the guidance of it. And that's kind of also what I see. There's a lot of board members that kind of go, yeah, that's interesting, but let's concentrate on the real questions, because they don't understand. It's really hard when you don't see the impact. It'd be lovely, Linda, if you can share something more about where the board is on this topic.
Yeah, and regarding this, from my experience, this is very interesting to have this let's say experiment part, and maybe Liselott, from your experience, or Vanessa also from your own experience as well, how to balance, let's say, this, let's say, opening to this very powerful yet also very complex tool, while being not too naive in the usage and all the potential it can also raise, I mean, in terms of threats as well.
I think there's a couple of different things. In this case, most of the tools, seems to me when I read about it, they're catered for in-house. I think the big risk is when you give the tool to a smaller set of your employees. We already know from research, whether they are given it or not, they will use it. And that's why you actually need the policies, the AI policies, to help guide that. I think the other thing that most board members don't know is that even when you use ChatGPT, for instance, you can actually remove that it trains on your data. Most people don't even know that. And I think that's a huge importance, that everybody knows what you can work with it. But I'll tell you, one of the things that I've encouraged all of my board colleagues, and that is just this easy thing. Take the quarterly report or annual report and run it through and discuss with it. And most people can start, oh, I can't do that. Well, there will be at least 500 analysts that have done it long before you've done it. So you can equally do it because it's public information.
Yeah.
And that has really steered a lot of good discussions, both are we tailored enough to our strategy? Are we communicating properly on what we're actually doing? So I think there are a lot of ways that is easier if board members themselves get a reason to put their hands into the material and try with themselves with some of these tools.
Yeah, very good insight. Vanessa, from your study and during the study preparation and together with Gilles, was it already, let's say, AI emerging in the conversations or in the work that was done?
Sorry.
No, that's fine. We don't hear you again. Let me.
Did she have a cough or something? I don't know if she's.
No, I need to activate mic again. Where are you in the list of the participants? Sorry.
Thank you, Ben.
No, that's fine.
Can you repeat your question, because I was mute and I had a cut.
Yeah, sure. I was asking during the study you conducted with Gilles. Did let's say this AI point, so to say, already emerged in the academia material or in the survey or?
Well, actually, you mentioned the balance. The balance is very difficult, and IA is a broad subject because IA, what do you mean by IA? It depends on the sector, it depends on the job. So the key point for me is about because our study in our study we didn't study precisely example of ER, but generally speaking, if we want to adapt people, employee, board to ER, you need training and you need budget and you need also time.
Yeah.
And I think the key point is about time in people in corporate because people don't have any time to train about and to gain in expertise in ER. Because ER, you have a lot of tools, you have a lot of solutions, but well, it's difficult to make a decision for people, for employee, and for board to have the very good, the very fair ER in your business. So you need to train, you need budget, and you need also time to incorporate ER in your business, in fact. And that's the reason because the balance is very difficult.
Yeah, it's also to really make it possible to raise concrete, useful use cases as well. You need to first understand what it may do as a technology. I mean, as a mean. Very interesting. Linda shared an additional comment. I don't know whether you could read it. I will read it. So regarding the board's involvement, right? You raised Lieslat. So yes, indeed. I mean the leadership group at group level. So all chiefs encourage the use of AI and technology. What I do find more challenging is being on the board at subsidiary level. And there is a question about this. How do you think I can add value in this context?
And I think, I mean, it's always a bit cumbersome to sit on subsidiary boards because you're kind of in between. But I think you can add a lot of value. And I think just starting with, can we, before you have even started to actually prioritize in that part of the business, can you share what experiments are going on and have that reporting to start that first? Then I think there's a huge difference between the previous digital transformation and AI. And AI is actually a consumer tool. Any one of us can now make actually a lot of improvements. So I think one of the things that we're seeing is that it hasn't really got into the budget these 2 years. Now, this year, it's getting into the budget. And it's getting in 2 ways. One of them is that it's getting into, of course, the cost of it, but also which are the kind of areas we're going to prioritize. So where are we kind of going with this? I think the big thing that we have kind of taken away is to have a bit of the flex that people experiment themselves. for me, for my boards, the best thing is just to say, we expect everybody to be, we used to say 10%, now we're raising it, more effective. And then just go do it and get them to report back what they're doing to become 15% or 10% more. So turn it around and give a bit of leash, I think is a very good way to do it, both on the top board, but definitely on subsidiary boards.
Thank you. So, so time is almostly up. Before we close this event, so I would like to thank you all to all the attendees first for their participation, and we hope you had a great time. Before you leave, I would like to ask you a last question because it will also inspire us in the working committee to propose you the most added value topic that resonates to you. And of course, thank you, Vanessa, and thank you, Liselott. It was really a great pleasure to prepare this event with you and to share it today. Very, very interesting, and thank you again.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you very much for your invitation. Thank you, Liselott. Thank you, Aban. Thank you, all the team. Yeah.
Thank you. And let's continue to collaborate. This is something we need to do together.
Yes.
And in fact, Aban,
sure.
we have our little cyber project that we will revert with together with MIT.
Yes, exactly.
And can we have the answer of the question, because I don't see the answer. Which topic will you ask us to cover?
Yeah, because it may also interest you from a research perspective, you mean?
Absolutely.
Maybe.
DAO, yes, and cybersecurity. I'm not surprised about cybersecurity. Great challenge. And cybersecurity is part of digital transformation.
Exactly.
It is the risk of digital transformation, but it's the part of digital transformation.
And the skills, the skills for the future, it's also one of the topic that raised. Thank you also to the ILA team to make this event possible. This is a great crew we can rely on. I wish you all a wonderful day, and I hope we see you soon.